Takijama, Episode 2, Canetoad Safari.
Hanako smiled, for she knew of what he spoke, and how the earth, nature, her creatures and children had patiently waited for this moment.
Mr. Takijama decided to take a holiday. First a relaxing cruise, then wherever the wind carries me. His mother, who was particularly fond of Hanako, the celebrity cow, travelled up from her home in Okinawa to look after the farm, care for the animals and feed the fish. At the news of her arrival, the local village buzzed with excitement. Celebrated throughout the prefecture, her traditional Okinawa-style yogurt made from Hanako's creamy milk was very popular. Beaming children eagerly polished off wooden casks of yogurt delivered to the village kindergarten by pony cart. Their eyes shone, their skin glowed, and locals believed the yogurt possessed ancient and magical properties. Typical. She's from Okinawa, the old ones would say. Mr. Takijama cruised the South Pacific with his close friend Dr. Barnes, a famous marine biologist whom he had met many years before under extraordinary circumstances. Sailing to a deserted tropical island paradise, they relaxed and talked for hours under a coconut palm by the lagoon, dived with dolphins, counted the waves, and observed the green sea turtles laying their eggs on moonlit beaches. Dr. Barnes believed the origins of the legendary Amazuku, or the Lost Ocean Tribe, might be connected to her amazing discovery of the monolithic underwater ruins lying in about 10 metres of water just 3 kilometres northwest of the island. They made many dives on the site, photographing, mapping, and collecting samples for later analysis. Departing the island and sailing southwest, Mr. Takijama and Dr. Barnes eventually reached Australia's Great Barrier Reef and Dr. Barnes' home in Far North Queensland. This was Mr. Takijama's first visit to the Great Southland, the oldest continent on the face of the planet. His life was about to take an unusual turn.
The four-wheel drive swerved all over the road, snaking this way and that, screeching tyres, revving engine, explosive pop, pop, splatter spurts punched the air. "This is how you drive here? Fascinating," said Takijama. "Nah, mate, we're popping Canetoads," his driver replied. "We'll score points for every one of those loathsome little pests we can nail on the road. Problem is, Canetoad guts get splattered everywhere. Pop! Oh, talk about the toad hitting the fan. This vehicle will have to be hosed down and detoxed. They're poisonous, you know. They cause incredible damage to the native species, no natural enemies, very nasty customers. What's more, they're spreading right down the coast and across into Kakadu. Kapow! Whoa, there goes a big one. Eat rubber!" The driver smirked as he zeroed in on yet another warty target looming in the headlights ahead. "Ah, so," said Takijama. "Mate, I've seen a croc dummy spit a Canetoad 500 metres. They taste so bad." "Huh? Jumping fugus," said Takijama. "Pop, pop, bang! Oh, yes! Triple bonus points! But get this, in the Northern Territory, dogs getting a psychedelic kick out of licking Canetoads to get high. Man, that's all we need. Packs of dogs running around, whacked out on Canetoad juice. The world's going crazy, mate." So if they spread, everyone will drive like mad dogs? Splat! Woofy woof woof, mate. The driver, glazed, grinning maniacally, was already frothing and twitching.
Mr. Takijama's ride inspired him to act, so he leased a remote, overgrown golf course, an abandoned ghost town resort up the coast. There were rumours that previously it had been the site of a secret government toxic waste dump. The Canetoads in this area were far bigger, smarter and meaner than their regular warty relatives. They were freak super toads. The locals wouldn't go near the place. But legendary Japanese punk rock band The Bear Ninja did. The band thought it would make an ideal location to shoot an extreme music video clip. They mysteriously vanished one night without a trace. Vans, volunteers, rescue crews reported supernatural happenings, unearthly lights, sounds, sightings, and Canetoads so toxic and gruesomely mean that the search had to be abandoned. Yes, it was hard to imagine. This was once a romantic Japanese honeymooners resort. Now it was destined to become a resort of a very different kind. Perfect, said Mr. Takijama, and Canetoad Safari was born. Welcome to live coverage of the opening of Canetoad Safari. We're going to cross straight to our live reporter on the ground, Ronnie. Ronnie, what can you tell us about Canetoad Safari?
Well, Steve, the site's not been altered. It's been left completely overgrown. It's wild, toxic and challenging. But Mr. Takijama, he's installed this revolutionary new technology, virtual imaging sensors throughout the whole complex. Now, he's designed these ingenious detox genetic morphing devices, for want of a better word. These are like tiny soft metal discs. They're worn like jewellery on the forehead of the players, and they're activated, get this, they're activated by pure mental energy.
Well, Mr. Takijama is giving a news conference later on, and journalists from networks around the world have flocked to Canetoad Safari to hear his plan to host this bizarre combat-style competition. Right here in the jungles of North Queensland, I believe.
Yeah, that's right, Stephen. And look, these games have got very strict rules of engagement. Now, what they're doing is pitting the world's best hunters, sharpshooters, warriors, tacticians, gamers, environmentalists against this formidable and fearsome toxin-spitting super Canetoad. Now, apparently, using Mr. Takijama's ingenious detox morphing discs, the competitors can, with a direct hit on one of these monsters, detoxify it. It won't kill it.
But once robbed of their lethal venom, these super freak toads will become fair game for the local crocs, snakes, dingoes and birds, I believe.
That's right, Steve, and in addition, this gene morph is going to get passed on to their descendants. Now, its reign as a toxic pest is over, mate.
And its reign as a toxic pest will be over. The Canetoad will become a tasty delicacy.
That's right, mate. Now, see, this has been very quickly developed. It's had the support of the gaming technology, global communications networks. These games are set for broadcast 24 hours a day around the world. These big companies, now, they're always keen to recruit any of Mr. Takijama's wonderful ideas. Satellites, the internet, interactive computer games, all patched into the virtual safari site. Canetoad Safari Online is going to be open and free to players via remote access from anywhere in the world, and even beyond.
Coverage from Canetoad semi-finals continues, and if you've just joined us, we're now crossing for a live report.
Yes, Steve, this boss toad on level 3 of the game is giving the competitors some major crazy headaches. Already we've had that grotesque sliming of the Canadian team. Now they smell worse than a swamp toad's armpit. Shocking awesome, mate.
Ronnie, what about those silver discs the competitors are wearing on their foreheads? Aren't they supposed to, well, knock these monsters out?
Oh, yes, they are, Steve. However, they take a bit of getting used to. Lose concentration and you're toast. You may recall what happened to the French competitor Marseille at the preliminaries.
Let's go to the replay.
Unbelievable action here as Marseille from France is locked in a mental battle with a humongous beast. The Canetoad has got this sort of Tonga death grip locked in. Now, here's the question. Will Marseille tap out? Oh, nice counter by the Frenchman. Japanese arm drag. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That Canetoad skin is just like toxic armor plating, and Marseille stuck to it like a spitball. Uh-oh, the Frenchman's going to the top turnbuckle. The Toad is momentarily blinded by the light from the Frenchman's disc. This could be it. He's going for the Parisian Gorilla Press Slam. He smells victory. Hey, what's the... Oh, I was worried about this. Drop Bears. Drop Bears. Where did they come from? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the bears drop from the trees and he's gouging the referee's face. The ref's distracted by the drop bear, and Marseille, look out behind you. The Toad! The Toad! Oh! Reverse Frankensteiner! Alabama slam! Guillotine drop! 1, 2, 3! The Toad stole the victory! He stole it! Run for your life!
There's no doubt. These super freaky toads are devilishly cunning. Took advantage of the distraction, used Marseille's own finishing move, the guillotine drop, to take out the Frenchman. Sends a very clear message to Brazil as to what they can expect in round 2. It became a huge worldwide phenomenon overnight. People everywhere just could not get enough of Canetoad Safari. Champions and legends were born, courage, endurance, team skills and fair competition honoured. Then one day all eyes turned to the distant horizon as the ancient whispering wind came. Soaring high across great oceans and mountains, it carried stories and songs of the epic event around the globe, gently breathing hope into the hearts of all humanity. In distant lands, far from technology, people's eyes glowed with a warm light, as if they recognized the familiar voice of a wise and gentle friend. Old grudges were forgotten.
Weren't we supposed to have a war this week?
Well, yes, sir, but with all the excitement of the
Semi-finals of Canetoad Safari, we just clean forgot.
By the end of the first week of semi-finals, sensational news broke, echoing around the world like a thunderclap.
Nobody's bombed or shot anybody. For over a week. Not even by accident. Anywhere.
The people of Earth experienced their first days of peace in living memory, believe it or not. An unexpected bonus was that the roads became much safer as at least one barking mad, glazed-eyed and frothing off-road vehicle driver finally found Zen. It seems that as a Canetoad Safari player, he'd accidentally zapped himself with one of Mr. Takijama's discs. He sheepishly handed in his keys and bought an eco-friendly hydrogen cell motor scooter. As for the crocs, snakes, dingoes and birds of the far north, well, for a while they got positively fat.
Mr. Takijama, what have you done now? Hey! Grab-moi! I demand a rematch! Don't step away! Grab-moi! Come back! You, me, one-on-one! Say hey! No other day!
Next on Takijama, Return to Forever. When he came to, Takijama was completely wet. He climbed out of the cockpit of the single-engine aeroplane which lay in the shallows on a reef, forming the outer ring of a small island's lagoon. He could not remember how he got there, or for that matter, who he was. His memories were lost, and so was he.